All right, let's continue our discussion about area. So, area is basically just another way of saying the distance or the amount of space inside a shape. Now, yesterday we looked at the basic shapes of a square and a rectangle. So, here is a square. To the best of my abilities, I'm terrible at drawing, and I know that a lot of you guys say, "Oh, I'm bad at drawing." That might be true, but nobody's grading you on your artistic ability. So, we're going to say one side of this square is 3 inches. Now, like we discussed yesterday, the defining characteristic of a square is it has 4 equal sides. So that means if one side is 3, then all of the sides are 3. So if this side is 3, then this side is also 3. Now, the way that we find area is we multiply these two numbers together. So 3 times 3 is what? 3 times 3 is 9. So the area of this square equals 9 inches. And the way that we show this area is we put this little 2 over the inches. So the area of this square is 9 inches. The way we say that is squared. 9 inches squared. But just know it has a little 2 over it when it's area. Now we're going to look at a rectangle. And I'm probably way better at drawing a rectangle than I am a square. So we're going to say that this side is 2 centimeters. Looks like it to me. And we're going to say that this side is 6 centimeters. I think that's a pretty good estimate. However, the side may be way longer than 6 centimeters. Or it may be way shorter than 6 centimeters. But your question is going to tell you what numbers you need to multiply. So don't get tripped up on that. Just do what the question tells you to do. All right. So the way we're going to find area is we're going to multiply this side by this side. The length times the width. This is the length. Remember, length is long ways, and width is up and down. So 6 times 2 is what, guys? 6 times 2 is 12. Very good. Six times 2 is 12, not 12 inches, because this is in centimeters. 12 centimeters. And what do we put over the cm? A 2, because that means 12 centimeters squared. Now today we're going to talk about another shape that is a little more difficult to find the area of. And that is a triangle. So triangles come in many shapes and sizes. I'm just going to draw a basic triangle today. So what you're going to see when you do the area of a triangle is this line down the middle showing the height of the triangle. So the area of a triangle is found with the length times the width, or in the case of a triangle, base times the height, except for you're going to add one more component. So this is what it's going to look like. So your base is 3 centimeters. Your height is 2 centimeters. And of course, I'm just making those numbers up. I really don't know if it's 3 centimeters and 2 centimeters or not. It looked like it was pretty close, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. If those are the numbers that the problem gives you, then that's what you're looking for. So our first step, we're going to say the base, the length is 3 times height or the width, which is 2. So 3 times 2 is what? 3 times 2 is 6. Now the one component that we're going to do with the triangle, which makes it a special case, is we're going to divide that in half. So 6 divided in half is what? Half of 6 is 3. So the area of this triangle is 3 centimeters. And what do we put over the centimeters? The little 2, which means squared. So the area of that triangle is 3 centimeters squared. And the way we got that, just in case you want to put it in your notes, is 3, which is the length, times 2, which is the height or the width, if you'd rather, and divided by 1/2. So you can write it like that. That's just a compound fraction. You can write it like that, because if you do your order of operations, this is going to be 3 times 2, which is 6, divided by 2, which is 3. So you're going to get it right that way. Or you can write it like 1/2 times 3 times 2. You can also write it like that. 1/2 times 3 times 2. But I wouldn't recommend that because it gets pretty confusing. So you don't have to know the formula, just know how you find the area of a triangle. It is 1/2 base times height, or 1/2 length times width, if you would rather. Alright, so let's look at one more triangle. And I'm going to draw kind of a funny triangle this time, because like I said, all triangles come in different shapes and sizes. Alright. So even though this isn't a triangle that you're going to be used to seeing, this is still a triangle. So the base or the length is going to be marked. And I'm going to say 7 centimeters. And the height is going to be marked. And I'm going to say 2 centimeters. So we've got a base of 7 centimeters and a height of 2 centimeters. So our first step is we're going to multiply those two numbers. We're going to multiply the base or the length, which is 7, times the height or the width, which is 2. 7 times 2 is what? 7 times 2 is 14. And now we're going to divide that in half. So what is half of 14? Half of 14 is 7. So there's a couple ways that we can do that. Either we can put the 2 outside the house and the 14 under the house. 14 divided by 2. Remember, keep, change, flip. Multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. We can do 14 divided by 2, like this. Once again, keep, change, flip. We're going to divide by half, or multiply by half, which is you're going to end up having 14 divided by 2. Either way you do it, just know that a triangle is length times width divided by 2. Or what you're more likely going to hear in middle school is base times height divided by 2. Because when we're talking about a triangle, we don't use the terms length times width. We use the terms base times height. Now, I'm going to show you why that is, and this is actually pretty interesting. So, we're going to take a triangle. Or, I mean, not a triangle. We're going to take a rectangle, or it could be a square, whichever you want. Just a rectangle. And then, what is the formula for the area of a rectangle? The area of a rectangle is found by length times width. Length times width. So here is why we're going to divide by half. So if I make a diagonal line across this rectangle, what do I have here and here? I have a triangle here and here. So that is why we're going to take our length times width, and divide them by 2. Divide them in half. So we're going to talk more about area. We're going to review the triangle because I know that the triangle is a little bit difficult. We're going to review the square and the rectangle, and then we're going to get to what's called composite figures, and that's for my 6th graders. So until next time, guys, we'll see you. Keep practicing, keep learning your multiplication tables, and I'll see you next time.